and it's all about hawkers bemoaning the impact of potential eviction on livelihoods. Let's check out this video, and when we come back, we will be talking to the right people and try to find the way forward on how to solve these issues. We'll be back.
Seated along the pedestrian walkway at Accra's to-do area is Mamiesi, a middle-aged woman who has traded in the central business district for nearly 20 years. As a single mother of 4, Mamiesi fears that her only source of income could be severely affected by the renewed calls for hawkers to be evicted from the streets.
Ghana so me isma yadin. Na le ba pam ma kwatene fie. Me se ni ahwa me ma. Me single payment to sadanda. Me ni kun. We ya na me ya de hwa me ma. What's the ba pam ya le ba pam me. Na yen fa na matena. Ama ye adwuma hwa me ma.
Adwuma we na wo hwe oye.
Me ya hwa me ma. Me ni kun, me ni mpona. We ya na me de hwa me ma. What's the ba pam me. Na pede mu wa na pada me yankwa.
Commercial transport operators who have threatened to embark on a strike if their demands are not met cite subsection 17 of the Road Traffic Regulations Act 2012, which prohibits selling or displaying goods along roads, on pedestrian walkways and at intersections. They argue that the increasing number of hawkers on walkways has contributed to a spike in road crashes and pedestrian congestion.
Most of these issues, it is rather the other way around. The human being who ran and hit the vehicle, the driver cannot abandon the person. He has to pick the person to hospital. The driver will pay for everything at all that he has to spend on the person. And most of the drivers doesn't end up well at the low cost as well. Hence our ultimatum of 19th May that if these hawkers are not clear from the street and the pedestrian walkway, it's in our LI 21.8. If you look at the regulation 117, it is there.
According to the drivers, their planned strike stems from what they describe as a continued disregard for their concerns by both the police and city authorities.
In the morning, they used to come and then issue tickets for them. Even on Saturdays, where assemblies are not working, you will find some people issuing tickets to the traders.
To the street hawkers?
To the street hawkers. So, you are Channel One. You can walk through CMB and the entire on Saturdays. Just this morning when we were coming, you find Nima police people on a van arresting drivers because some people who occupies shops on the roadside have even placed no parking signage, not allowing even drivers to use that road. Are they road authorities?
However, some hawkers are pushing back.
Aha station. Into sad demonstration of say strike on back I don't agree with them. Now I find saying time station is a 1 station. I hang yet. Muse fencing e be a car ba wugina ho a etumi cause accident nti me no mo yajo for strike na mo say ombeko no.
While others acknowledged the challenges, they appealed to authorities to consider a more humane approach, such as implementing a time-based trading schedule rather than carrying out outright evictions. They also stressed the need for a dedicated and accessible market space for their activities.
December may time be base and 9 o'clock be an 8 o'clock na yen swalin fi kwano ho a nanka ya sorry. Enti say ye ni baby a ye hwedwa aye na yetina nkola yi be sida ya hwe nti yesla won. So wo ma ye na mbre kakra obi a wo bo 8:30 anana yen fi kwano na yen je mu ma drivers for na yen
So the drivers want hawkers sacked. Hawkers are protesting the move by the drivers, saying that they would embark on a strike, or they want the hawkers sacked. But Chris, I can tell you for a fact that Accra is choked. I really don't like visiting the central business district, because anytime I get there and I come out of the place, I feel exhausted, like I'm tired. You have to battle your way, how to maneuver yourself through people, and when you are done and you are driving, moving out of the central business district with your vehicle
can be
is another problem.
Yes.
I think in a way I'll side with the drivers, because sometimes you get to the central business district, the hawkers have now moved onto the streets, and they are selling on the street. A particular example is at opposite or in front of Cocoa Board. Like they've moved there and they are selling on the streets. You go to Kaneshi, same. You go to Circle, same. And if a trotro driver is moving to the central business district, sometimes it can also be a problem. But I think that if the hawkers are cleared, it now creates a space for the drivers to also ply their trade. Why can't we have a particular system where this is checked? Because very soon we'll be getting into the AMA conversation and all of that. But we know that the regional minister, that is Henry Korte, did something like that, trying to decongest Accra. And the same thing that even the Ghana Immigration Service is also doing today to decongest Accra. They issued a statement not long ago stating the reason why they are embarking on this exercise. So from the Ghana Immigration Service wishes to confirm an ongoing operation commenced in the early hours of Friday, May 16, 2025, aimed at addressing the presence of undocumented migrants on the streets of Accra and other cities. We are currently assessing the outcome of the operation and will provide further details to the public in due course. All what they are doing is pushing towards the decongestion of the city. But the question is, how sustainable is this?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question, because the sustainability can only work if there is someone or some people or an office that is actually assigned to, monitor these things, not just one raid or one action. Then everybody will just go and sit down later on.
Well, the assemblies are also supposed to do this. Mind you, we know that the AMA is planning that by next week, Tuesday, they will be moving into the central business district, get the pavement rid of hawkers and all that. People are moving into Accra, and the necessary checks are not being done. You go to them, and what they complain is they come to us every morning. That is, assemblies come to us every morning, demanding for some sort of ticketing or all that.
Some tickets,
Yes. So it tells you that the people also, they feel entitled. That we would have to be
because
on
they
the
are paying
street.
tickets. They're actually paying whatever tickets they are, paying for that ticket, whatever it's meant for. So you don't have the right to tell them, move. If I'm paying for that, that means it's my sport.
And should the pavement be the spot on which you are selling?
No, you see, then this still goes back to who is in charge of all this. Because if you know the pavement is not the right place for these people to actually set up and sell, why do you then ticket them?
There was in the past a scheme put up, or a measure put up. I don't know if you heard of Abai. Well, it's with a task force. So when a task force, the members of the task force are coming, and you are selling on the pavement or a place that is unauthorized, they come, they take your ware, they take your item, and they take it to the assembly. What has become of that? You see someone selling on the pavement, as soon as he or she hears a loud noise from another colleague,
they start running,
and they would have to take their stuff away. That means what they are doing, they know it's illegal. What they are doing, they know it's illegal.
Maybe they should bring back the Abaye.
Well, and another issue with the Abaye was people were conniving with the task force members, and they were making money. Not long ago, we saw a task force that was commissioned or inaugurated by the then Regional Minister Henry Quartey, that is Operation Clean Your Frontage. And what has become of that initiative?
Exactly.
So
it feels like these great ideas pop off, and then it just happens for 2-3 months, and then it's forgotten again. And then everybody praises you for that minute, and it's forgotten again. So that's why I say the issue is an issue of sustainability. It's an issue of who's going to be accountable for this project that we are embarking on now. Not just embarking on the project, but follow-ups. Who is going to be following us on the progress and all that? So I think if progress is actually followed up on, then this will be more sustainable. But as it is, I don't think there's anyone actually going back to see, is this project working? What is the impact? Has it, has it been fruitful or not? Nobody's going back to check those things, because if those things were checked, we would know why, how to move forward from all this.
I think that trying to decongest the city of individuals and other illegal activities is very important.
What's happening right now? Right now at the immigration, what the immigration is doing. But what are they doing? They don't need to wait for drivers to actually say they're going to embark on strike.
Someone also say that that's a means of survival. You are telling me that I shouldn't sell, and how am I going to survive? There's also another argument there.
Okay, you can sell. But
sell at the right place.
Sell at the right place. Or find another means
of going about your business.
If people are online because they don't want to be on the streets.
But how many people understand the online business? So, how many hawkers will you say that understand the online business?
Maybe you should find another means, or maybe it's time to speak with authorities. You understand? To find ways to actually accommodate them. Find ways, let's be innovative. Find, maybe a space, another space, expand something.
Let's have further conversation on this. The National Road Safety Authority, the head of communications, Pearl Adisu Setekla, is joining us live for us to have a conversation. Recently, they have stated that they will be engaging the Inspector General of Police to have a conversation on what the drivers are pushing, that they will embark on a strike if the law is not enforced. Good morning, madam. I trust you are doing well.
Good morning, sir.
From your side, you said you'll be engaging the IGP in no time. Have you engaged the drivers to really appreciate where they are coming from?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I agree to everybody in the studio and your good self and everybody listening and viewing me. As you've said, we have planned, there is a planned program to meet the IGP even before we heard of the intended strike. And these are some of the things we want to discuss with the new IGP, so that enforcement can be tightened in the country to promote road safety. And so we are in the process of meeting him when this announcement of impending strike came. And so we've started engaging all the unions so that we could come to an agreement for them to suspend or hold on their intended strike for the meantime, so that we could meet with the IGP, meet with the Metropolitan District Assemblies, because they have a very high stake in this. So that we will see how together we could make the traders go into the various markets, not only the ones on the highways, but where there are markets springing up on pavements, under traffic lights, in the streets. Even some of the streets have been closed to traders. Unauthorized markets springing up on streets. If you go to Kaishi, Mokola, even how do we call the place in Koko? I've been there recently, so I know. So all those places, we'll see how we engage the local authorities with the police to make good use of what the drivers are saying. They are in the right direction, because you see, the law stipulates that traders are not allowed at certain stretches or certain spots of the road. But when a crash happened, the traders who went into the streets are not punished. Rather, the drivers are punished. And it is becoming one too many. And so I think, as we all say, that road safety is a shared responsibility. Therefore, we should all play our part to making sure that the roads are safe for all of us, because everybody is a road user one time or the other. And so we have met them even yesterday. We met them. We will continue to meet them today, so that they will rescind their decision, suspend it for the meantime, and look up to us, meet the right stakeholders, and then we'll go into action. We should give us some time. If we don't act upon our agreement with them, then maybe they could go ahead. So we are in good discussion with the unions. We will meet the IGP soon and meet with the assemblies. So I will come to a definite conclusion. We are very even encouraged with the yesterday's announcement by the new mayor of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly that by Tuesday is making sure that the sanity returns to the roads within the Sudu, Mokola, Kaneshin, Adabraka areas. It is a very, very encouraging news. It will help the discussion we are having with the drivers.
All right, Pearl, sorry, this didn't actually start today. We didn't just wake up and see the place filled with hawkers on the street. So throughout the time it started, what has been, the job of the road safety? Who is actually accountable and responsible for actually watching these things happen?
It is the responsibility of, let's say, 3 major organizations. The district, municipal and metropolitan assembly, it is their duty because they have it in their bylaws. They create markets for the trading. And so it is even in their bylaws that people should not trade on the road. So why are they not acting upon their bylaws? The police are also there to enforce road traffic regulations, not only to the drivers, but pedestrians, hawkers who pass the law. Then we have to supervise that those acts, when you go into the road traffic regulation, LI 2180, section 117, it says that we should not sell on the road. So once it pertains to the safety of road users, road safety should also oversee the supervision of the enforcement going on. But we have not been idle. We'll always be collaborating with the police. Our mandate is to sensitize, educate, and advocate. So together we go with the police. The police ensure that they enforce the law. So when we go and sensitize them and educate them of not selling on the road, the police make sure they return to the market, or they give some space, adequate space where pedestrians and drivers will be free from their harassment. But we will do this, and the next time you return, they are back. Okay. We are always doing it throughout the country. I've personally traveled to Accra, Kumasi, Nkoko. That's why I said I recently went to Nkoko, so I know what I'm talking about. We travel, we go, we educate them because they see the police. When we go, we enforce it, they return back. Meanwhile, the next month or the following week when you go, they are still there. And so I think the indiscipline on the part of road users, traders cannot be left out. Right. But I have a very good example with the Ladadepo Municipal Assembly. I used to be at the assembly. When hawkers were coming on the pavement around 37 Military Hospital, they used their task force. It didn't work. They now have to use the soldiers. And before they were using the soldiers to drive them back, they had prepared their market for them. And since they went back into the market, since 2013-14, I've never set eyes on any hawker or any trader that has bought their wares or goods on the pavement or in the middle of the street. So I think we need to have a very good modern strategy that will drive them back and they will not return. The buyers will also not patronize their wares when they are on the street. If it is not being bought and the market people's own are being bought, you'll be forced to go back to the market.
Right, but do you think there's space in the market?
There are lots of spaces in the market. There are. The market is not only for sitting down. Some people even go around the market as some of them do, there are spaces. If there are no spaces, the municipal assemblies should find a way of creating other markets. For instance, when I was growing up, the circle market wasn't there, but when we saw an overflow of traders on the road, that market was immediately constructed, and people are there. Meanwhile, they blessed the market, and they are still on the road. And so assemblies should take up this responsibility, help all of us, so that when you create a market for them, they are not there. The police can now enforce.
With these traders on the pavement or selling on the road and other things, what risk does it pose, and why are we fighting this?
The thing is that it creates a risk for them themselves and for other road users. Sometimes they are run into, people are maimed, people die, they themselves, the traders. You see, a vehicle that any time, the vehicle is a machine, so anything can happen at any time. And when you are near or on the road and something untoward happens, you are at the risk of a crash. You understand? Meanwhile, sometimes pedestrians are also forced, because they are on the various pavements that the pedestrians have to walk on. The pedestrians are forced to compete on the road with vehicles, and then they are hit by vehicles. Sometimes when there is a problem, the drivers run into these market people. So it is a very great risk to road safety improvement in the country. That is why we don't want people to get injured, people to die. We need to sanitize our roads.
Finally, from us here, you have the mandate to sanction, if that is it. What will be some of the sanctions you'll be meting out to individuals that will be found culpable in that line of decongesting the roads?
Our mandate to sanction is not towards individuals. It is towards institutions.
Okay.
And so, for instance, when we engage the assembly and they are not able to, how do we call it, sack them or make them go back into the market, then we'll sanction the assembly that is within that jurisdiction. And so, not towards individual. The individual sanctioning is for the police to do.
So with the assembly sanctioning, will you be looking at that aspect to enforce it or implement it proper?
We have to, because where we are heading towards total lawlessness and chaos on our roads, if we don't enforce the mandate that makes us an authority, then we are probably not doing our work. And that is also leading to, how do we call it, the lawlessness we are seeing on our roads. I always say that education without enforcement is entertainment. You are entertaining the people. Oh, Martin's women say. And so we need to enforce our standards, so that together we can make the roads safe for everybody. Because you don't know who will be hit the next time. It may be you, it may be your family member. And so we need to seriously enforce our standards that has been given us.
Thank you so much, Pearl Adisusotekla is the head of communications at the National Road Safety Authority, sharing with us insight on what they are also going to do to support the drivers or support the move of decongesting the various streets in the Greater Accra region. And she mentioned in Koko, in Koko is in the eastern region. Now you get on that road and you see bread sellers. They've captured the whole street. Then you don't even know which place to branch to Kwewu, or if you are a first-time driver, you may get confused. But gradually, they are getting onto the street. And you see, these things, we look on. That's the problem. We look on and it's happening. One comes, we don't mind. The second person will come. The third, fourth, fifth. Then it becomes a whole community.
Yeah, it has a ripple effect.
Yes. It becomes a whole community. And now, that's I keep saying, is this reactionary approach. See, the thing is happening. We are seeing it.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
We are. It didn't just start yesterday.
It didn't just start yesterday.
Yeah.
We are seeing it. We are buying from them. Someone will get to the market, say maybe Domi Market or Accra or Kaneshi, and the person is not even willing to enter the market. The person just gets to around the road and just buys from there and just moves back.
Right.
But the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is looking forward to embarking on an exercise May 20, next Tuesday. The Public Relations Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has joined us live, Gilbert Ankra, for us to have further conversation on this. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I trust you are doing well.
Sure, by God's grace, we're doing well.
This exercise you want to embark on, one will say this is not the first time we are seeing such a thing going to happen. What has now compelled you to embark on this exercise coming next Tuesday?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners. Mayor of the city, Honorable Michael Pakwaloti, sent his regards. You know, for some time now, immediately after the Christmas festivities, you know, the assembly moves in to ensure that traders who have come out to do business quickly move back to the market and all that. And for some time now, that has not happened. And as a result of that particular delay, there is a lot of congestion within the city center. If you listen recently, transport union operators have threatened to even go on strike because of the congestion, because of traders on the streets specifically. So the mayor of the city of Accra, in collaboration with the Krole Municipal Assembly MC, embarked on this press.
Hello, Gilbert.
Yes, I'm here. Embarked on this press engagement to let the entire traders operating within these various areas understand the need to move away from these areas purposely because of the threat to public safety and urban mobility. So basically, they are aware that wherever they are operating from, they are not supposed to be there, and that they are, anytime the assembly wants to move them, we can come over and move them. The exercise is being concentrated within the central business district. We are looking at areas such as Okanshi, Kwame Nkrumah Interchange, and then the Kaneshi Enclave. So basically, this is what we're going to embark on Tuesday, and with the level of engagement. On Tuesday, the mayor met a cross-section of stakeholders, including market leaders, transport operators, and other stakeholders to get their feedback, and they were all calling for such an exercise. So basically, that's it.
All right. So it's actually nice to hear that you are embarking on an exercise on Tuesday. But my question is, how do you actually keep this sustainable? How do you see that this doesn't just happen just on Tuesday, but happens once in every 2 months, once in every 3 months, you know? After this, it should be happening more, so we don't see like a comeback of what's happening, because this is not the first exercise that has actually been embarked on when it comes to these issues of hawking. So how do you make sure that this is going to be sustainable?
Thank you very much. You know, over the years, the AMA has embarked on a lot of these decongestion exercises to ensure that we clear the traders. We've been times when they've demarcated areas for traders to be within those particular enclaves and all that. This time around, the mayor has announced clearly that he is going to introduce a 24-hour city operational model, and they will be including a task force to deal with issues of sanitation and security itself. So these task force guys will ensure that they man these particular areas, and this will be done closely in collaboration with the security service. Yesterday at the press conference, for instance, if you will notice, the mayor was flanked by members of the Metropolitan Security Council, and that includes the Chief Inspector of the Accra Central Zone, Ebenezer Nketia, and that carries the way that the assembly is not embarking on this very exercise alone. So issues of sustainability is something that, from our side, with respect to enforcement, the Assembly will not leave any stone unturned. Now, just as I said earlier on, we've been engaging these traders, and just on Tuesday, the mayor met a cross-section of them. And if you listen to their concerns, the traders themselves, the market queens themselves, are calling for this very exercise. And we are quite hopeful that with whatever is happening, they will go on and ensure that they do the job for us.
So, Gilbert, I want to find out from you, these traders or hawkers that you be sacking, maybe some are selling on the pavement. Is there an alternative place for them, or are you asking them to go back into the market? And if yes, is there enough space in the market for them?
Yes, if you listen to the market space, it was quite clear. They said that there are spaces within the market, and that a lot of these traders that you see them outside are people that they know them themselves. So, and they know that they have, and they know that they have these guys within these areas. So, for issues of spaces within the market, it is something that is there. There are spaces within the market, and therefore, as an assembly, we know that with whatever engagement we've done so far, issues of resistance will really be very, very minimal. Aside that, the assembly has this market redevelopment agenda, and we embarked on some redevelopment of the markets within the central business district to be able to accommodate a lot more of these traders. That agenda is still on course, and yes, and that we would embark on these other long-term measures to ensure that we'll be able to accommodate them. But on the street, the mayor has said clearly that trading on the street poses a threat to public safety and urban mobility. And for that matter, we as an assembly cannot sit down to get some of these things compounded.
Well, Gilbert, thank you so much for your time. Gilbert Ankra is the head of communications at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. He's sharing those. That's how the exercise that they will embark on next Tuesday, May 20, will be done. We'll be keeping our eyes open on this exercise. And trust me, after the exercise is done, 2, 3, 4 months after, we will take our cameras there and see what has become of the exercise. Because like we indicated, this isn't the first time an exercise like this is going to happen in Accra. The sustainability is the question.
Very important.
And that is what we are all asking on this particular show. But like we've always been saying, please make sure that you are part of this conversation, 02044470033, and let's build our communities.